In the 1800s, thousands of Black Americans packed their lives into wooden trunks and boarded ships headed for Africa. Not on chains, not as captives. They left on purpose. Some wrote letters back home, some sent warnings, some sent hope. And then they disappeared from the American story. History never asked what happened to them, so today we will. After slavery, freedom didn't feel like freedom. Black Americans were told, you're free, but not equal, not safe, not welcome. Then came an idea that sounded like mercy. You can go back to Africa, a land you'd never seen, a home you were told was yours. They promised land, they promised dignity, they promised belonging. For people who had never been allowed to belong anywhere, that promise felt like oxygen, so they went. The journey back to Africa was not a return, it was an experiment. The ships were overcrowded, disease spread fast, many died before seeing land. Imagine surviving slavery, only to die chasing a home you were told existed for you. Those who survived reached Liberia and Sierra Leone, believing this is where our story resets. But history doesn't reset, it collides. The people who arrived were African by ancestry, but American by culture. They spoke differently, prayed differently, governed differently, and the people already living there did not see returning family. They saw strangers. Two worlds met under the weight of colonial borders, European interference, and American control over who belonged. This wasn't a reunion, it was a collision. Some of them wrote back to America, not the speeches, not the posters, the truth. They wrote about disease, about hunger, about isolation, and about regret. One man wrote that Africa was not the home he imagined. It was a place he had to learn how to survive all over again. But these letters were buried in archives, not taught in schools, not told in freedom stories. Hope is easy to publish. Pain is easier to hide. Some families vanished from American records. No follow-ups, no descendants tracing back, no closure. They didn't return, they didn't write again, they didn't get remembered. Not because they didn't matter, but because their story complicated the idea of going back. History prefers clean endings. Their lives were not clean. This story isn't about failure. It's about what happens when trauma is asked to solve trauma. You can't repair displacement with another displacement. You can't heal exile by pretending memory is a map. Africa was real, but it wasn't a memory waiting for them. It was a living place with its own people, its own struggles, its own wounds. Reconnection is not a return trip, it's a relationship. Those who left didn't vanish. They became part of Africa's modern story, even if America forgot their names. Their journey tells us something we don't like to hear. You can't go back to what was taken, but you can move forward with what survived. Connection isn't geography, it's intention. They didn't find the Africa they imagined, and America didn't follow them there, but their courage still speaks. Not because they left, but because they tried to choose their own ending.